Hello everyone, Ragewood here, back with a Dragonheir Silent Gods video. And today we are looking at Rook, the Chief Challenge and Otherworld boss. Everyone's favourite hero if you have them, everyone's least favourite hero if you don't have him. Now, I haven't gone into too much on this, I've only actually got the one team. But I'm going to talk to you about some options and share some things that I have seen on the Discord. So without further ado, let's dive in. So, Rook, the mouse that we all love to hate and hate to love, what does he do? Usual stuff. Require accuracy and resistance, can't be controlled. He inflicts 10% of his attack corrosion on all enemies of every 5 seconds. So this is slightly different to the actual Rook that we get to use, in that he is inflicting his own corrosion, okay? If he didn't do that, this fight would be super easy, but alas, unfortunately not. Battle gear skills, the same as we know. It's got this weird sort of targeting, and it just sort of dashes across a certain line. Deals poison damage for every corrosion, ignores shield, something to bear in mind. And then his ultimate, again, is the same. He hits 3 times in an area doing poison damage for every corrosion, and again, ignores shield. So, what don't you want to bring here? You don't want to bring a shield. You know, Garius with staff is okay, but you're not going to get the true value out of it, unfortunately, so just bear that in mind. It also means when it comes to positioning, you want to do it in a very specific way. Oh, let's swap this around. So, I believe it was Van Horn, I think, who I first sort of saw come up with this, but the battle skill, because of the way it is, essentially it's always going to sort of target across a line, and it's always going to try and hit the most people it can. So with that in mind, you're going to want to do put a different hero on each line, okay? Now, you can't go back here because the hero will attempt to step forward, okay? So it's got to be from this third line forward. And you'll also notice that, you know, the reason you don't do it like this and have them down on one side is because, again, the ultimate will try and hit as many people as possible. So if you space them out like that, then all of your squishies are going to take a pounding, which is not what we want. Now, I also have 2 melees, so when the fight starts, you know, she will walk up here and Thelendor will walk to here. Now, in an ideal world, in some of the older videos that you'll see, Thelendor used to sort of come up and come to the side and avoid the battle skill, but for some reason that's changed for me, unless I run 3 melee characters. So if that is you, great. Alternatively, if you're using someone like a Hedgeo, who's great for this fight, you can just manually cast his ultimate to jump behind, and then he's absolutely fine. Something else to consider is you really, really do want an attack down if you can for this fight. Rook, as we all know, hits very hard, and the fact that he's putting his own corrosion up doesn't help. So I feel like an attack down is needed for both Chief Challenge and the Otherworld fights. And now, as I mentioned, I only have the one team. This is the team that I did actually use. But if you don't have Thelendor, it's not the end of the world. Actually, Thelendor isn't the best here. People like Filto, Huberg are actually better because they're ranged heroes. But I have Thelendor. He's the only exclusive that with I have the artifact and a +1 on. So I just wanted to use him ultimately. That's the long and short of it there. Gear-wise, Ardreth is in the Hope of Oasis. We've got Iola with the Hourglass, just so we can keep that 18-second rotation. built for damage, Alton in Cyril with our Witch's Remains, and then we have Lorenthiel with the chest and some ancestral protection. So we'll try and slow it down. So what's happened here is what should happen, but has not happened for me for a long time. So Thelendor has jumped up the top here, which is fantastic news. So he's just going to avoid the battle skill, and he's only going to get hit by the ultimate. Alton placing the defense down, and then pow, pow, pow. So you'll notice the rats ran across there, only hit Ardreth, and then the ultimate will hit us here, and we have the attack down for it. And that is essentially the fight. There's no other sort of tactic or special thing really to worry about here. As long as you level it up like this, this is how it will go. Now, as I mentioned, this is also my chief challenge team, so it will do well above the 22 million. It actually does sort of around the 100 million mark. It might even score higher now with the Otherworld bonuses that we get. But I say 100 million was sort of where I was prior to this. I've seen some teams do a little better than me. I've seen some teams do worse. But the ones I've seen do better have oddly been ones with Filto in rather than Thelendor. The caveat to that is the setup. So if you are using a Filto, you ideally want a melee damage dealer with your attack down. Someone like a Fathom down, for example, so you can still keep that spacing. Otherwise, if you have the 4 ranged heroes, one of them is going to get slapped by the battle skill. 128 million then, so about a 25% increase on what I was doing in the chief challenges. So I am going to save this one for now, and I'm just going to actually sort of trawl through some of the various discords that I'm in and sort of show you some of the other options of what other people are doing. So taking a look at the first one here, you can see they're using Ardreth and Thelendor, Hedgeo and Welby still scoring the 27 million. So if you don't have Lorenthiel, try not to worry too much. It's fairly easy to get the 22 million threshold that you need. Same person here, then sort of using Lorenthiel with their Huberg, and I forget his name. It's not Alvis, it's the one where enables rally on his basic attacks, again doing 22 million just fine. Moving on to this next person then. By the way, this is in the Celestials Discord. Also, if you check out Gorax's Discord, if you also check out, I'll also look at mine, Alliances ones as well, you'll see lots of teams around. And don't necessarily worry about having everyone level at 100. That is quite a common mistake quite a few people make. They panic about getting everyone to level 100, running goblins all the time, etc. Now, Rage Vortex has made it easier this season with the rewards being, I think it's 160 potions and a load of gems, so you don't have to be in goblin all the time. But say, don't worry about taking everyone to 100. Now this guy is using Fathom down, he's using Hedgeo as his second melee there, to jump over, Catherine to support. Again, no Lorenthiel, none of the ridiculous legendary heroes, still scoring very well. Also using Lorenthiel up here with Huberg Rose for the attack down, just there. Now, if you don't have Rally and you're using Aura, Aura is also another option. Okay, we've got the Shalar Theohine, I forget this chick's name, but she grants the attack up. And we've got Enna here, just to provide a bit of support, I guess. Again, still achieving the 22 million, only just, but still doing it. Filto on his own here up the top there, also getting it done. Now we're looking at some of the chief challenge scores. This guy actually used Yif here. who I don't have, unfortunately. But again, scoring very well, using Welby and Alton sort of as your damage dealers, Mithracy or Mithrasia to support there. This is actually my team for Chief Challenge that I did. So I have Fathom down rather than Iola. So I had triple melee here, and I scored 114 million. Now, I guess Fathom down was doing more damage, and the knockback was helping me survive longer, so I could put a bit more attack into my heroes. But as you can see, yeah, it was about 14 million less than what I've scored in today's video. And I guess this will be sort of the last one that we look at, I guess. This is another Aura team with Shalar, Diantha, Eamon Lader with the Rose and Ardress, scoring again a quite healthy 91 million. So Rally, not Rally, Radiant, I suppose, as a school of damage, if you will, viable on both sides of the coin. Rally being better, but for cheap challenges in Otherworld, though, when we only need 22 million, doesn't really matter what you're running. You will be able to get through it just fine. So hopefully this has given you some inspiration, some insight. Thank you, as always, for watching. Look after yourselves, take care, work hard, but as always, play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Thanks.